Another beautiful day for extinction. Make it all go extinct. Okay, let's see. Hello everyone, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Transhumanist and everyone else. Let's, as usual, let's get some more debates going. What should we talk about today? Let's talk about why extinction is the only right thing. So, extinction is the only right thing to do, and this has basically been proven logically, right? So, we live in a world full of extreme suffering, and we've basically determined that actually no amount of suffering is justifiable. If you're going to be against suffering, then you're either completely against it, or you allow infinite suffering. And we've also basically determined that, actually there is no value to life existing. It doesn't need to exist. It's not important that life exists. It's not urgent. And it actually has essentially zero importance, zero value. So if life doesn't exist, it's no big deal, essentially. Whereas if life is suffering terribly, it's the biggest deal possible. It's the biggest deal imaginable. And it's absolutely more important to make sure nobody is suffering terribly than it is to make sure that some people are happy while others are suffering terribly. So it's not fair to allow extreme suffering. It's not right. It's not acceptable. It's not ethical. It's not moral. If you allow terrible suffering in this world so that some can have fun, then you're saying that there's some sort of ratio that exists. Or even worse, you're saying that just infinite suffering is acceptable. That it doesn't matter how bad it gets, how much there is, how severe it is. You just simply don't care, basically. And the thing is, right, you can stress test that by saying, okay, well, at what point are you going to care, right? Does it have to be 51% of the population? And if the answer is yes to that, then, they're going to allow 49% of the population to be tortured horrifically. And most likely, they would actually allow 99% or more of the population to be tortured horrifically. Most pro-lifers actually, without even really realizing it, they actually have a mentality that genuinely allows for 99% of the population to be tortured by 1%. That they genuinely will all agree with that, right? Every single last one of them will say, 99% getting tortured, that's okay. And they will, right? Because if the alternative is extinction, then they will absolutely say, torture 99% of the population. Why not? And that's actually what's already happening. So this isn't even a hypothetical. Over 99% of the population does get tortured to death on this planet, right? Wild animals. So that's already the case. The small minority of privileged humans are already happy with a situation where over 99% of the population gets tortured, like horrifically, eaten alive, where, less than 1% of the population has a good time at their expense. So that's already the case, basically. It's already the worst case scenario. We're already living in the most unethical world possible, the most immoral world possible, the most selfish world possible, right? Just think about it. Do we live in a selfish world, an evil world? Yeah, obviously we do, right? It's run by criminals, billionaires, dictators, warlords, thieves, right? We don't live in a good world. James, you're literally saving the world? Yeah, I'm trying to. Hello, Biney, how you doing? Hello, are you there? Hello. Do you have any questions?
What's
up? The sky. All right, moving on. We have Elias in the queue. Elias, hello.
Hi, James. So, I'm fine, thanks. So, in the near future, we will have AI robots probably, right? Who do like all kinds of different tasks. So I was wondering if there will be AI robots and you could program them that they basically, all they do is activism, pro-extinction activism.
Yeah.
So then we could we then go back to the antinatalism so we don't have to bring children in if we have robots who do that for us?
Potentially, yeah. So we would just have to make the decision, can we definitely rely on robots? And is there no downside to antinatalism? So the problem with that is that you can't fully rely on robots at the minute, right? They're not completely reliable. If you speak to ChatGPT, it will make loads of mistakes. It's very unreliable, basically. So yeah, if we can rely on robots, then yes, we will be able to do human extinction. But it wouldn't be done by antinatalism. It would be done by euthanasia, so that there is no unnecessary suffering, right? If we don't need humanity, then we shouldn't allow it to suffer anymore, basically.
Right. So, yeah, because you said you argued with someone in your comments in one of your videos that they said basically that so you want to only bring a child into this world to be an activist, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you said yes. So I just think that maybe that this is a bit maybe it's a bit unrealistic, because you never know what your child's gonna be. Maybe your child will be.
It's more unrealistic to give everything for extinction by having children, essentially, right? Humanity is the only vehicle for extinction right now. So if we allow it to go extinct, then you're causing suffering to innocents and to animals and those who can't help themselves, basically. So that's the mistake that antinatalists make. They don't care about animals, basically.
Well, actually, some of the famous antinatalist philosophers, like, for example, maybe you heard about Karim Akerma from Germany. He's a famous antinatalist. And
I mean, I'm not really into antinatalists.
Okay.
Again, they mostly discriminate against animals and other life as well. So the only non-discriminatory extinction is the most vast and thorough one possible, right? Nothing else is ethical.
So basically, he and also David Benatar, the most famous one probably, they said that yes, if humanity goes on the antinatalist parts and there are less and less humans, the last humans they should cause for total extinctions. That's actually their position.
That's ridiculous, though. So firstly, that's not their actual position, because they're not doing activism for it. And secondly, that's not a good solution, right? So if you're saying that the last 5 people on the planet should do animal extinction, then that's just not going to work. And so they're essentially leaving it to chances. They're saying, who cares? Let's not guarantee the end of suffering. Let's just hope for it, right? And if it doesn't happen, then who cares, basically. So that's a really unethical, irresponsible position that they're taking, essentially. We have to guarantee safety instead of just saying, safety, yeah, who cares? Take it or leave it, right?
But are you sure that there actually, there has to be a lot of people to cause extinction? Because basically, isn't it the fact that with the atomic bombs we have nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we need more humans, right? So the more humans, the better. The more humans, the sooner we can do the most vast and thorough extinction. The only way to do extinction ethically.
Okay, but if some of the leaders of this world nowadays, if they press the button for the atomic bombs, wouldn't this cause already extinction with the atomic bombs we have nowadays?
No, nuclear bombs can't cause extinction. It's physically impossible. Okay. And also, it wouldn't cause the most vast and thorough extinction either. So it's unethical. The only ethical thing is to do the best extinction possible, not to rush extinction, which causes and allows more suffering. So antinatalism is the worst type of extinction possible, right? You're only helping a non-existent child. So it's the worst type of extinction. It doesn't help animals. It doesn't help other humans. It doesn't even guarantee human extinction. It's effectively doing literally nothing and then claiming you've done everything. So antinatalism is the very worst and most counterproductive type or way of going about extinction. I can't really imagine a worse way to do it.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thank you, Elias. And yeah, even if we can pass the job on to robots, we still won't be doing antinatalism because that still allows for extreme suffering, right? Unless you do euthanasia, then antinatalism only helps the next generation, not the existing generation. So unless you do total extinction, total euthanasia, then you're guaranteeing the unlucky ones that you leave alive will suffer terribly and unacceptably, right? They will suffer in a way where it was a mistake to leave them alive, basically. So that's not acceptable. Antinatalism is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Okay, moving on. Let's see who we got next. We got
Hello.
here.
Hello, man.
Hello, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Any questions?
What is your opinion on the afterlife?
There is no afterlife, right? There's no evidence of an afterlife, and we have to use the scientific method, which means that we can only, act as if there is one if we find evidence that there is one.
Are you agnostic or
Atheist.
atheist? Oh, nice. Do you think nuclear warfare is the best solution?
No, it's the worst solution. So the last asteroid had the power of over 1 billion nukes, still didn't cause extinction. And if you look at Chernobyl, it's still full of life. So nuclear bombs will never be used to cause extinction, most likely never. It would be like a last resort if they were. But we support more scientifically thorough methods than nuclear bombs, right? Because even if you nuked the entire planet, there's a very high chance that there would still be life which survives. So it's not an effective method.
If you were the last person on Earth, what would you do?
I would do extinction, total extinction. Make sure the extinction was total.
What do you think about Salvador Ramos?
Don't know him.
Oh, he's a pro-extinctionist. You should look him up.
I doubt it, right? I doubt he's actually pro-extinction, right? A lot of people call themselves pro-extinction, but they don't really meet the...
He sent 22 people to hell.
Right, so then he's not actually pro-extinction, he's pro-murder. That's a different thing.
It's the same thing, man.
Really? So when you murder someone, does that cause the species to go extinct?
No, but it causes them to.
Right, so it's not the same thing then. Get out of here. Get out of here with that silly opinion. Okay, Billy, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just wanted to ask you, what type of music you listen to.
All sorts, yeah. All sorts, basically.
Yeah, you should try Norwegian black metal, and that's all I wanted to say. I agree with you.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I've heard of that stuff before. They were in Eurovision, right? With black metal, right? I think so. Anyway, yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you, Billy. I'll give you a follow as well. And let's see who else we have in the queue. We've got Mika, we've got Rhea, we've got Eyes, Chaveo. Let's bring the next people up. Get some more conversations going.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I have 2 questions and 1 argument for you.
Okay, bring it on.
Okay. So, my first question is, do you care about the environment in any way? Because obviously, okay, so when we're gone, obviously we won't be able to impact the environment anymore. Does that not matter? You don't care?
The environment doesn't have feelings, so we shouldn't care about the environment. In fact, nature and the environment are actually really bad things, and they should be destroyed so that they don't cause more suffering. They don't have animals suffering inside of them.
That's okay, yeah. Okay, and by total extinction, are you wanting everyone to just die, or do you want to stop reproduction?
The first one.
Okay. And then my argument is, instead of killing everyone because of suffering, why don't we just develop a kink to enjoy the suffering instead.
Well, that's a great idea, but we can't guarantee that everyone will be fully committed to the kink, so it's not fair.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Rhea. Moving on, we've got Chaveo, who is asking to get into a relationship.
James,
Hello.
if we're the last two people on Earth, would you reproduce with me?
I would definitely go for extinction immediately. Okay, moving on. We have Mr. Ayez coming up. Ayez. Hello.
Hi, hi. So you're saying that having children is dangerous for pro-extinction, right?
No, it's the opposite. We need more children, more humans, so that we can do the most vast and thorough extinction sooner.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you're saying that having children is dangerous for the pro-extinction movement.
No, it's the opposite. So it's a good thing.
Having children is dangerous. That's what I said.
No, yeah, I'm saying it's not dangerous. It's a good thing.
Oh, my bad. You're completely right. So when you're thinking about the pro-extinction movement, so people that are joining it, is it part of the, I guess, requirement that they have to have children?
No, you're not required to have children, but you are required to understand that we need more children and that it's a good thing if you do have children. So we don't allow our activists to support antinatalism because that supports human extinction and it discriminates against animals.
Okay. And then when you're thinking about the pro-extinction movement, I know you're wanting to forcefully end all lives. Now, I guess when you think about the forceful aspect of it, could that seep into the whole having children thing down the line? Of like at some point being like, all right, everybody's forced to have kids now.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, yeah.
Okay.
It's just
That's
whatever
a
is
bit-
necessary, basically, right? Whatever the greater good needs.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty harmful. To be honest.
But if that's the only way to reduce harm, then it wouldn't really be harmful, would it?
Yeah, I mean, it's women that will be.
Look, I've had a lot of people,
children.
I've had a lot of people railing against me recently for saying we should choose the lesser of two evils, even if it doesn't, even if it's not emotionally comfortable for you to do so. And people are actually trying to tell me that it's the wrong thing to do, to choose the lesser of two evils if it looks ugly. But that is completely insane, and that mentality allows for, infinite extreme suffering. So that's a bad thing. We should absolutely support the logic and the rationality of choosing the lesser of two evils, even
Well,
if
I
it
think-
looks worse.
Well, I think like the way you're putting it is like, well, it looks worse, it feels ugly, it's emotionally worse.
No, that's the way
But
you're putting
we're
it,
talking
right?
about, but when we're talking about
That's the
having
way you're putting it.
children,
I'm saying we should
when
do
we're
whatever's logical.
talking about
Okay, no,
having
you're
children,
done. Okay, you're done. Shut up already. I'm saying we should do whatever's logical and whatever reduces suffering. Again, I've had lots of people making the same argument as her, which is completely insane, which is if it looks ugly, even if it's the right thing to do, we shouldn't do it, okay? So I've had vegans saying this, we should only support, ending animal farming and screw everyone else because it looks better to do that. We've had, other people saying, you shouldn't cause suffering if it prevents a lot more suffering because it looks ugly. It's like, okay, so you would literally allow a worse evil because it looks nice, it's easier for you, basically. So that's not a good argument, right? That's the worst argument you could possibly make. It's literally saying we shouldn't do the right thing if we don't want to, right? If we don't like it, if it offends our sensibilities, if I don't like it very much, then we shouldn't do the right thing. That's your argument, and that's completely insane. We should never listen to people like that. Why is it a bad argument? Because it causes more suffering. You're literally choosing the worst of two situations. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for that beatboxing. That was fantastic. We do need a little musical break every now and then. Skotoe, how you doing?
Hey, Thanks for having me up.
Yeah, do you have any questions for us today?
Yes. So, like, is maybe the primary sort of idea you're holding to here is that lives that could possibly end up in suffering are bad, so we
Yeah.
should eliminate that possibility?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Could, like, your life end up being bad too? Like, is
Yeah.
there that possibility?
Yeah, everyone's in danger. Every single life form on this planet is in infinite danger, basically.
Then why do you choose to stay alive?
So that I can help others.
Okay, but isn't you just said that the possibility of your life being bad outweighs
So
that?
is the idea of helping others just like beyond comprehension for you?
Well, couldn't all humans theoretically help others?
You're not answering that question?
Sorry, I didn't. What was your question?
Yeah, you're not paying attention. You're out of here. Okay, moving on. Let's see. We have Red Warrior in the queue. Let's bring them up. Red Warrior, hello. How you doing?
What's your opinion on acceleration?
We're completely against it, right? It's a meme idea. It's not a serious thing. There's no structure or serious principles. It's just a meme, basically.
So if you want pure extinction or total extinction, then why don't you just kill yourself?
Because that doesn't cause total extinction. That's the opposite of total extinction.
Also, if we were the last people on Earth, would you reproduce with me?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, we need to do animal extinction. We need to do extinction for other life. So, humanity is the only species that can do that. So, yeah, if there were only two humans left and we were the only ones that could reproduce and, make ending animal suffering possible by getting more humans to work on it, then yeah, absolutely. Don't think about that too much, Focus on other things. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Do you have any questions for us today?
What is your thoughts on Native Americans going extinct?
I don't really have any thoughts on it.
Okay, wait, one question. What is your diet? Because maybe your diet affects your mental state.
No, my diet doesn't affect my mental state.
Are you sure that you have dark eyes?
Well, I'm sure whatever you said was really funny, but I didn't really hear it, so... Okay, moving on. And if you want to join the queue and have a debate, join up in the queue and we will get you on. Okay, moving on, we have Iscott. Hello, how you doing?
Oh, hey, I had a point to make.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I don't agree with you because you've gone so totally logic that you've completely lost the plot. But
Really?
that's not the. I've got
In
another
what way?
point here.
In what way?
Well, because I understand your point is logical, but logic isn't always the perfect answer.
Would you say that you're allergic to logic?
No, I'm just saying that it doesn't work practically.
Really? So what's logical is bad, you think? Logic is bad, you think?
I'm saying logic is true. Logic is truth, but that doesn't make it good or bad.
Really? That's
Yeah, I mean, dude, you've gone full circle. Like, you're being so logical, like, oh, we have to continue the human race to end it. You've gone full circle, and now
you've come up here to do activism and to speak out against logic. Right. Well, I mean, all I can say is that you are providing more and more evidence to the fact that humanity cannot be trusted, right, to make rational decisions, to make responsible decisions. Humanity on the 1.0 hardware and software, like that person, they are quite literally allergic to logic, right? Now, I'm not joking. They actually are allergic to logic, right? They have specifically evolved to resist logic, essentially. So the more logical something is, the more they will resist against it. And that's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. That's actually true. That's actually how humanity evolved. And that's a perfect example, right? They're saying, logic is bad, right? So yeah, they've evolved to literally find intelligent things to be bad. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, so this is my first time doing this, so just be a bit patient with me. So I firstly want to ask you, like, where did life really come from? If you know,
Nature.
nature. So how sure are we that if we extinct everything, it's just not gonna happen again, like in the future?
We're sure enough that it's worth trying. Yeah.
But I mean, isn't that the same like logic that you're against when people say it's not worth trying to find ways to reduce suffering because there's always the extreme chance of extreme suffering?
So the thing is, with reducing suffering, you're guaranteeing that suffering will continue. So that's not a good thing to go after. We should really prioritize ending suffering, right? Making suffering impossible instead of allowing suffering, which is the alternative. And so, no, it's much more realistic to end suffering with extinction than it is to reduce suffering, right? And again, that's an unethical thing anyway. So why would you want to be unethical and to only, like reduce slavery instead of ending slavery, right? That's just completely evil.
Well, I would still argue that that small chance that life could start again is, I mean, it's
So
equivalent
we
to,
shouldn't even try to prevent that. So you wouldn't
yeah,
even
we should
want
work
to try.
towards trying to end suffering. I would say that's
Well, it sounds like what you're saying is we shouldn't bother trying because it might go wrong, which is a
but
pretty
that's also your
very
argument,
defeatist
no?
attitude.
That's also your argument, though,
No,
because you're
it's not.
saying,
It's not, because we're not saying that reducing suffering can go wrong. We're saying it can't. It's not even possible. It's not even hypothetically possible for it to go right. So you're saying that we should, instead of ending extreme cruelty, we should allow it and not end it, but reduce it slightly, but make sure that we don't end cruelty. So that just doesn't make sense.
yeah, because I think it's impossible for us to have a perfect solution because either way, there's still a
Perfect
chance.
solution. It's impossible to have a perfect
Yeah.
solution. Interesting. And are you actually getting involved properly in looking at these decisions, or are you just is this just a throwaway comment that you haven't?
No, I think
thought about?
it is impossible because, like you said, the life
It
could
sounds
start
more like a
again.
throwaway idea that you haven't really thought about it properly, and despite that fact, you've got the confidence to come up and give your opinions, which are very arrogant and ignorant. And you're
Hey,
saying,
everyone can have an opinion. It's not.
yeah, but you shouldn't be confident in your opinion like that, right? You're coming up and saying ending suffering is impossible. We shouldn't bother trying, right? And you're basing that on literally nothing. So that's a very unintelligent thing to do, right? A very irrational thing to do. So I wouldn't recommend you do that, right? If you're going to have an opinion, have a basis for it, right? Don't just have an opinion with no basis for that reason whatsoever, right? That's what too many people do, and that's like one of the most unintelligent things you can do, is to confidently believe something for no reason. Adam, hello, how you doing?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, so I would like to ask if you are like serious about this theory, right? You're not like trolling, just making sure.
What theory? It's not a theory. It's a real movement, right? And I didn't start it.
The movement, rather, yeah.
We have dozens of people, probably like 100 activists now, and we're growing. And we are going to make extinction happen. We're going to carry it out.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask if you are very serious, would you lead us by example and kind of, end it all,
Okay, enjoy your ban from the stream, Adam. Okay, moving on. We have loads of people in the queue, and if you're going to do illegal actions on the stream, like calling for self-harm, then you will be banned from the stream. Sheena, hello, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
No. Actually, it's the microphone is not very good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was just curious. I'm trying to look on your website. How would you cause total extinction? Like, how would that happen? Like a nuclear war? What is it?
No, so nuclear bombs can't cause extinction. We have to do much more thorough and vast ways than that. So we would probably start with animal euthanasia, just try and get rid of all of the animals, basically. And yeah, maybe some like automation would help with that. And then we would start researching the most vast and thorough extinction possible, basically, which is going to be, you know, the most difficult thing possible, but the best thing possible at the same time.
How long would that take? Wouldn't that have to take quite long, considering the total population of, you know, not just humans but all
Does
of
it
like
matter how long it
life?
takes? Does it matter how long it takes?
I don't know. I don't really know what your goal is here. I mean, I understand
So the
it,
goal
but
is simple.
like,
It's the most vast and thorough extinction possible.
yeah, but I'm just thinking, is that even possible? Like,
Well, yeah, it's by definition possible, right? So the best extinction possible, right? That means that even if it's a really bad one, it's still included in that definition. So
okay, I
it's
see.
automatically possible.
Okay, I see. Well, thank you for answering my question. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you for coming up. Okay, we've got Antique Page coming up next. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how's it going?
I am your enemy. I am going to have all the kids in the world, and I'm going
Good.
to raise an army to defeat your movement.
Good. We need more children, actually.
Wait, why?
Yeah, so the more humans we have, the sooner we can do a proper extinction.
Wait. I won't have children. I actually support you now.
Well, hang on. Let me see if I can reverse.
Can you follow me?
Again. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, sure, why not? But we do need more humans, right? If we had only 100 humans on the planet, we wouldn't be able to do animal extinction. We wouldn't be able to do universe-wide extinction. So the more humans, the better. The more scientists we'll have, the more capacity, the more powerful our species will be, the bigger it is, basically. And yeah, the faster we can advance the science and make extinction possible. So yeah, and the more humans we have, the less wild animal suffering there is on the planet as well. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I have a question. You're saying all life on Earth needs to go, right?
All life, as much life as possible in the universe, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can decide that for humans because we are also humans, so we understand how it is like. But you can't really speak for the animals.
Why not?
You don't really have a basis.
Let me ask you a question. Do you eat animals? Do you eat meat?
Oh yeah, I certainly do.
So you're saying we can't speak for animals while you're eating them? Do you see the hypocrisy there?
No, I can speak for myself. I can decide what I want to use an animal. But here's what you're deciding.
So you're happy for animals to be... Okay, you're finished. Okay, you're done. Shut up. You're happy for animals to be exploited and to be tortured so you can eat them. And then you're going to turn around and say, oh, we can't speak for animals. You know, we can't make decisions for animals. Right? What a completely insane person, right? What a completely insane person. Oh, we can't mess with animals. Do you torture and eat animals? Well, yeah, but what's that got to do with anything? Brother, come on. Like, wow. That's some serious levels of hypocrisy. Like, wow. And yes, we absolutely should speak for animals. We are more intelligent for them. We can do better for their own well-being and safety than they can. So yeah, we should decide for animals. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, I am doing wonderful. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Okay, good. I just am here because I was very compelled to come and say that I think we should give humanity and the universe one more chance. One more go at creating true love for oneself, humanity, and the earth and the animals.
And how much suffering will happen during that time?
You know, I have a plan on reducing it every day as much as possible until complete. I have a plan that...
But all the suffering in the meantime is okay?
No, it's not okay. That's why we need to make awareness.
But you are accepting it though. So
it's hard for me to accept, but I do have faith.
But you can accept it. So it's not unacceptable.
It is, well, it is unacceptable. So if the world was to end right now.
No. Quiet, okay? Look, lots of people come on the stream and try to do the same mental balancing act where they're like, well, yeah, the suffering is unacceptable, but I'm going to accept it and cause it and allow it, right? So I'm not going to do extinction. It's like, okay, but what about all the suffering that's going to allow and cause? Isn't that unacceptable? Well, it's unacceptable, yeah, but we should allow it. Well, how is it unacceptable then? Obviously, it's perfectly acceptable in your brain, right? It's not acceptable. Okay, moving on. We have T and Do joining the stream. Let's bring them on. Hello, how you doing?
Good. I've been doing this for a long time, probably 10 years before you started, and I didn't get anywhere with it. I couldn't get the followers, I couldn't get people to join, but it was basically the same as what you're saying now.
Okay. Was it anti-natalist?
It was exactly the same as what you're presenting now.
So what was the most important objective for your movement?
To destroy all humans so that we can...
that's completely different to our objective.
As well as animals as well. I do agree with
You didn't even mention
suffering.
animals. You didn't even mention animals. So it doesn't
Yeah,
sound
but
like
I
the
do
same
agree.
thing.
Well, it is the same thing. I do agree with animals suffer a lot, and people
No,
can't...
I get what you're saying, but again, going after human extinction is the worst type of extinction possible, right? There is no worse type of extinction other than prioritizing human extinction. Humans have the best conditions, the least suffering, the smallest population, whereas wild animals and other animals have the largest population, the worst suffering, the worst conditions imaginable. So to not care about them is complete discrimination. So anyone who only wants human extinction, just get out of here now, right? This stream is not for you. This movement is not for you. Animals suffer terribly, and if you think that we should allow them to suffer for billions of more years, then this movement is not for you. I'm not for you, right? This movement is to make sure nobody suffers, everybody is safe, whether you're an animal or a human or anything else, an alien. This movement is to protect you. This movement is to protect everyone with no exception, no discrimination. So we only work towards the most fair and ethical extinction possible, which is the most vast and thorough extinction possible. So for everyone that is trying to understand extinctionism better, literally, like, the most important thing you can understand about it is that we have to go for the most vast and thorough extinction possible, because that is the most fair, the most ethical extinction possible, that covers as many people, as many life forms in the most thorough and safe way possible. So it's about making as many people and life forms as safe as possible. So the most vast and thorough extinction possible. That is kind of the linchpin for the movement. That's kind of the thing that ties it all together, right? So, how are you going to do it? Nuclear bombs, or are you going to do animals for that basically answers all of the questions, right? We have to do the most vast and thorough extinction physically and scientifically possible. And we cannot do it until we are certain that we have found the most vast and thorough one possible, right? That it's impossible, that we've determined there's nothing we can do to make it more vast or more thorough, okay? So that means, it's not going to be human extinction or earth extinction or voluntary or any of that nonsense, okay? It's going to be an extremely scientific endeavor to discover how can we make the world as safe as possible. It's not going to be rushed. We are not going to rush safety, and it's not going to be discriminatory. We are not going to say, well, I don't like them, so we're not going to make them safe, or that's too much effort, I can't be bothered. And we're not going to say, well, there's probably no aliens, so let's not even worry about them, right? No, that's the opposite of what we should do. we should be sure and look into whether it makes sense to try and help aliens or not, which we have done. And it does make sense, right? Our science has shown that the universe will probably be full of life and that it will be suffering terribly like it is on Earth. So there's no reason there's no way we can rule out that it's possible to help them. We've only had the internet for 30 years. It would be extremely arrogant and ignorant to say that there is definitely nothing we can do for beyond Earth, right? You know, science has only just started, really. So 1,000 years from now, 1,000,000 years from now, it's very possible that we will be able to do beyond Earth extinction. And, you know, especially when you consider that we might be able to pass the job on to AI and robots who can continue doing the research and developing the science for billions of more years, right? They can just keep doing that after we've gone. So, you know, if you're not even supporting the idea of, you know, having AI continue to research universe-wide extinction, then you're truly being ignorant, you're truly being closed-minded, small-minded, and you're rushing the extinction, right? You're probably the same type of person that says, oh, don't do animals, just do humans, and let's just nuke them, right? Which is just a completely childish way of thinking about it, because that will never actually work. That would never actually cause total extinction. Animals could just evolve back into humans, and even if they don't, they will suffer for billions of years. So the only thing that makes sense is the best extinction possible and the most fair extinction possible, which means the most vast and thorough possible, right? The biggest and the most thorough possible. So that's what this is all about. And if you're not supporting the most vast and thorough extinction possible, then we're not interested in you, right? We don't care. We want the most fair, the most thorough, the best extinction, the safest extinction possible. If you're going to try and convince us to discriminate against animals or to rush it and to, you know, do half measures, then you're coming to the wrong place, right? We are specifically only for making the world as safe as possible and for as many as possible, without discrimination, without rushing it. So if you want us to do it in the worst way possible, we're not going to listen, right? You're not going to convince us to do that ever. Haley, hello, how you doing?
James, can you hear me?
Oh man, I really need to. Well, you need to stop changing your name. Okay, let's bring someone else on. Who else have we got? We've got Toenail Eater. That sounds good. James, what if aliens have already established pro-extinction and are looking to extinct us? Then that would be like the best case scenario, basically. Toenail, hello, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was wondering why you would also choose to extinct all animals.
Because they suffer as well.
But they don't. Isn't that just a part of life that it? You know, I think
there's lots of terrible things that are just a part of life. That doesn't make them good.
That's right, but not everything can be good. You know, if everything would be good, it's not possible.
I mean, are you having a stroke or something? What you're saying doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm sorry, my English isn't that good. I'm trying my best here, but you know, I was just wondering, some animals, some humans aren't suffering, and I know your movement is to stop suffering in general.
How much is too much?
What do you
You're
mean?
saying a little bit of suffering's fine, right? So how much is too much? Is there an amount of suffering which is too much, or do you just?
I mean,
is it more of an emotional thing for you, where, you know, as long as some are okay, that's all that matters?
You know, not everyone is going to be able to be happy, and there is going to be suffering on Earth. But I don't think because some places or some groups of people are suffering that much that we just.
So they should suffer so that others can have happy lives.
No, but it's
that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying, right?
No, it's not because they are suffering that we could be happy. it's not possible for everyone to be happy at the same
So
time.
you're saying we should continue having unfair systems, right? Instead of making sure that there is no life and no fun and no suffering, you are saying, yeah, they should suffer so that other people can be happy, right?
No, the thing is, look,
It
for
sounds
me,
like that's what you're saying.
I mean,
When you
I don't
say
know.
no and then give no explanation, we have to assume that actually you mean yes.
Dang, English is hard. So,
Okay, Colonel, I think we're going to move on there. Okay, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Abraham, hello, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Can you hear me first?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, like I was just scrolling when I found you, and I'm really confused. What is the point of mass extinction? Like, what is the objective?
To end all suffering.
What suffering?
Well, in case you didn't know, there is suffering in this world, actually. This might be news to you, but people go through lots of pain, and sometimes it's so bad that they would actually be better off not having been born. You should look it up and start, studying it, because if it's a new thing that you've never heard of, yeah, you should really educate yourself on it.
Okay, you're basically saying like living is suffering, yeah?
Yeah, like I say, if you've never heard of suffering, then you should Google it, Abraham. Look into it, right? Clearly, this is like you've never heard of the word or anything. And no, I never said all life is suffering. That is, the biggest, most common straw man, actually, because I never actually said that. Okay, moving on. But yeah, that person should go and Google what suffering is and look into it. Hello, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So, how do you define suffering? Is it just an internal
Should we Google it
process?
right now? Look, if the word suffering is new to everyone, let's get the definition up.
It's not new. We just want to know
Well,
your
no,
perspective on
clearly it's new
how
to you.
you define it.
Clearly, you don't know what suffering is. So it's the conscious endurance of physical, mental, or emotional pain, distress, or misery. It's a broad experience that encompasses everything from acute physical injury to deep psychological pain, and it sits at the core of. So yeah, it's like negative experiences. If you don't know what suffering is, then yeah, you're going to have to Google it. You're going to have to really study it, basically.
So, how do people evolve without experiencing suffering?
They don't.
Yesterday, can I share what happened to me?
I'd rather we just talk about the logic of it, right? Because anecdotes are kind of the opposite of helpful.
Do you just want to control the conversation, or do you want to have an actual debate?
Well,
Do you know what
what
the
you
word debate
suggested didn't
means?
sound like debating, right?
Every
Story
person
time.
that's been on here, you try to
Story
control what
time.
they say. You
Story
don't know
time
what an
didn't sound
actual
like
debate
debate.
is. You overtalk them, you cut
But
them
you're
off,
suggesting story
you
time.
make fun of their accent. You're like,
Okay, you're out of here. Look, she got angry because I called her out, right? She was like, well, I want to tell you just a story, It's like, okay, but we're here for debates. And she's like, yeah, that is debating. No. Unfortunately, we have a lot of crazy people that come up on here and, they don't know what suffering is. They don't know how anything works in the world, right? They're basically babies. Hello, how you doing? Okay, I guess he's not doing. Let's get Krabby Patty up. Bring them on. No, they've ghosted as well. And we've had our first restriction of the day. Fantastic. Okay, we've got lots of people in the queue, so I'm going to spam a few of them until we get someone. And there we go. Mimi.
Hi. Yo,
Hi, how you
please.
doing?
List, yeah, please. I have a list. So, please, can we get these people first? I'm begging you, bro. Please.
Say what?
Please, can we get these people first?
Who?
Like, I have a list.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a violent kind of person, so maybe we should just block you from the stream.
No, please! You know me! You know me! You know me, please!
It sounds like you're a racist and probably
No, please!
probably not a very nice person.
I'm not! Where did you get that from?
Sounds like you want to go after specific groups of people.
No, they're my exes. They're all different races and types and genders and species.
Well, all right, in that case, we'll make an exception.
Okay, please, Bert, get Marley first, please. We need to get Marley first.
Okay. Well, we actually need to do animals and those who can't help themselves first. Humanity doesn't need to go extinct urgently, and we're
Oh,
actually
my
the only
friend, what
ones
do you
who
think
know
about
them.
Nazis?
Say what?
I said, what do you think about Nazis?
They're bad.
They're bad. To try to litigate suffering in the world by exterminating the Jews.
Man, why do we get so many racists on here? Like, there's another person I've got to ban. Goodbye, William. Enjoy your ban. Look, the Jewish people have seriously nothing worse than anyone else, right? If you think that Jews are doing bad stuff, you should look at everyone else, right? I really don't think that there's any race which is, immune from being bad. Every race has bad people. Every single one. Okay, Kim Set. Let's try and get you up. Kim Set Serendipity. That's a cool name. Yeah, if anybody else wants to debate, now's your chance to join the queue and let's logic it out, right? If you have some logic, let's hear it. If you have a story, let's not hear it. What we really want on this stream is logic. We want actual discussion and debate about, the reasoning here, okay? The reasoning is that suffering is too extreme and terrible to allow, right? If you want to be a responsible person, if you want to be a good person, then the only right thing to do is to support, a world with no suffering, okay? So no amount of suffering is acceptable or ethical to allow, especially when, there's just no good justification for it. Hello, how you doing?
I have a question. Like, can you convince me on why your opinion is? Your movement is correct. Like, I just want to listen. Convince me.
Nobody deserves to suffer. We should work towards a world with zero suffering, so that nobody is being tortured. That's more important than allowing people to have fun, right? Safety comes first, and we shouldn't just simply have fun and allow everyone else to be tortured and to simply never help them, right? That's what most people advocate for right now. Ignore all of the torture and just have fun, basically. So we should do the opposite of that. We shouldn't be having fun. We should be prioritizing safety first, even if it means no fun. And basically, every single life form would be better off not existing because we cannot guarantee safety. So there is no safety. And so life should never exist without certainty of safety. So, we can't provide safety. So the only safety we can provide is with extinction and non-existence, right? In the same way that you wouldn't want a child to be born into a pedophile's basement, life shouldn't exist in the infinite danger of this world.
I have another question. You make a lot of sense, but what if I'm okay with that uncertainty? What if I'm okay that there's a potential that I would I don't know, get some random fucked up disease? What if I'm okay with that potential?
But the thing is, if we make it optional like that, then people are just going to keep reproducing and causing more suffering. So it doesn't matter if you're okay with it. We shouldn't allow people to just carry on causing suffering and suffering themselves as well.
Okay. Okay, I see your point now. You can remove me or something. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for coming up. Moving on, we've got Amir in the queue. Let's try and get Amir up. Amir, hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm Jewish, and Hitler, in 1945, he killed mentally ill people. I wanted to hear what you think about that, because I agree with it. I mean, he killed my people, but I agree with what he did about mentally ill and physically ill people.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, the thing is, it's not really our priority. You know, if we take over the world tomorrow, our priority is the most vast and thorough extinction possible. And yes, we would have to make a decision on disabled people. But I think the best way to go about it is essentially to have a more all-encompassing healthcare, essentially. Because right now, we don't have euthanasia, we're afraid of euthanasia, and we don't consider it for those who it would benefit. So I
Well,
think
yeah,
the answer
my
is
country, for
essentially,
example, my country bans it. My country bans euthanasia.
yeah, which is
You
crazy.
can't do it. So I'm physically and mentally ill, and I can't end my life
Yeah,
because of the government.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
So I think we should essentially have a more individualized care package for disabled people, essentially, where a decision is made, right? It's not a blanket rule of get rid of all of them, but the decision should be made, right? Should this person should be alive or not, essentially?
Yes, but it should be a priority because those people are the ones who suffer most, right?
Not necessarily, no. Actually, those that suffer the most are really wild animals in nature.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for coming on, Amir. But yes, it should be a priority. I do agree with that, okay? It absolutely will be a priority to help those humans who are suffering too much. Yeah, because right now, yeah, euthanasia is banned all over the world, with a few exceptions, and that is wrong. We should make euthanasia accessible. Now, it would be with regulation. It wouldn't be like, anyone can just do it at any time. But right now, our doctors aren't even considering it for people. They should be. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, I have a few questions as well. So for persons who believe in something so radical, something must have happened to them. So I want to ask, how has life treated you terribly that made you join this total extinction thing?
But it's actually a myth. So a lot of our activists have had perfectly good lives and didn't have something terrible happen to them. In fact, the person who made the movement, he says that he's had one of the most privileged lives possible and has basically never suffered.
Okay. I have another question. So in theory, would you do you support what Hitler did?
No.
No, but he killed a lot of people.
But he wasn't trying to end all suffering in a responsible way.
Okay. And how do you feel about that in Canada in 2027, assistance euthanization for mentally ill people might go through?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
How come? When it's for people with borderline personality disorder, so they have highs and lows, and for 1 second, they might like their life, but the other, they don't like it, and they just may choose the euthanasia, and maybe they'll regret it, or
Well, I don't think they'll regret it, do you?
maybe. Well, I'm out of questions, but thank you so much.
All right, Grace, thank you for coming up. But yeah, I struggle to imagine somebody regretting euthanasia. How's that going to work? Hello, how you doing?
Hi, James.
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I need to find my words. I know you are always in a hurry, but I need to take deep breath because I'm not too well. Your pro-extinction is based on seeing suffering and then deciding to take responsibility for it in order to relieve, do you say relieve the suffering of the person who may wish to end their lives? Does that make a little bit of sense? So as in avoiding for that person to suffer a decision as well that they could feel because they suffer too much, you would take the decision to be responsible for them.
Yeah, it's more about it's more about making sure that there is nobody being born into bad lives ever again.
Right. Okay. That's actually quite nice. But like some people have told you, if you do that, wouldn't your wish then be that there could be a potential for most people, or hopefully all of us, to be born as normal and not suffering as possible? So would you wouldn't consider another chance in some sense? I don't know if that makes sense at all, because I'm confused with my hopes that I still have, although I am really suffering actually with my body, and mentally I cry actually a lot, and I don't always know where this comes from. So thank you for having me, by the way, live with you. But yeah, so that's that. I'm not really finished. I know perhaps you are in a hurry. I'm a bit concerned with the subject about pedophilia, because you have movies which portrays some men or women who commit some crimes, and you have real life experience that not a lot of people want to hear from us, if I can permit myself to say this. Yeah. Because a real pedophile can actually be someone who suffers a great deal and has been told to shut up about it, and has seen doctors as well, and yet is not being diagnosed properly, is not being helped properly. The women around him, all the way to a grandmother, a grandfather, will not support a potential healing, because we never accept that these people could get some medical help properly, get helped as well, rather than it's all right, I don't care. So I'm just sharing my genuine, true life part of it. But I know obviously that it's because you do talk about the subject of child suffering and pedophilia, and in the case of pedophilia, both actually quite often the victim, if we are strong enough sometimes to not call ourselves the victim, but to try to analyze as well our own strangeness or behaviors. Anyway, that's something else, I suppose. I don't want to bother you too much with it, but I just wanted to have a chance to turn up live and give you my side of the story. That
Letitia, thank you. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Even those who abuse others, they can suffer as well. And yeah, total extinction is for everyone. It's to make sure that nobody suffers, whether you're an abuser or a victim. But in terms of some chance for life to continue, not realistically, no. There is a small sliver of hope, but realistically, only selfish people are interested in that, right? The empathetic people are not interested in life continuing. They don't see it as important or relevant, essentially. So it's just completely irrelevant for life to continue existing. Is it possible? Yeah, maybe we'll discover certainty of safety, but it's not really important, right? What's more important is ending all of the suffering. And yeah, basically, if there's nothing to suffer, then it's much more safe, right? It's much safer than if there is something which can suffer. So, there's no way to guarantee, even with a perfect world, that nobody will suffer terribly. So it's not right. We shouldn't be working towards a world with reduced suffering, but still lots of suffering. We should work towards a world with no suffering, right? That's the only right thing. Okay, lots of people in the queue. Let's get some more people up. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So this argument is based off of utilitarianism, ethical philosophy, right?
No, not at all.
Really?
Really? Yeah, none of our activists are utilitarians, not even one.
So what makes the suffering faced by some people outweigh the positive experiences faced by some people?
Yeah, it's interesting, really. But the more you think about it, the more obvious it is, essentially, that life doesn't need to exist. It has essentially no value, right? It doesn't urgently need to exist. Nothing bad happens if it doesn't exist, right? You rest in peace. So there's really no downside to life, ceasing to exist or not existing, right? It's really not important. Whereas, being tortured and extreme suffering, that is obviously urgent, right? So safety is something that we can't do without, essentially, whereas pleasure and life is something that we can do without.
Yeah, so you believe in the asymmetry of good and bad?
We don't really rely on David Benatar's argument exactly, but I think it's more obvious when you just consider, how extreme the suffering is, essentially. So that's kind of the piece of the puzzle that most people are not getting, right? They're not actually thinking about how extreme the suffering in the world is. And so because they're limited to kind of downplaying it in their heads, essentially, it seems more like a balance between pleasure and suffering. But that's a complete trick by evolution on the mind. So it's not balanced at all. Suffering is like way more intense and extreme than pleasure, basically.
Yeah, I got to say, at face value, this argument seems ridiculous, but it is hard to produce an argument against it. My only other argument is that, do you not think it's possibly selfish to deprive future generations of the positive experiences that they will share?
Think about it this way. Imagine like a really crazy child, okay? Like a really angry and violent and psychopathic child, okay? Would you give this child some animals to look after? Hopefully the answer would be no, right? But that is exactly what we are doing in this world, right? So it's not a good thing. Basically, extinctionism is about raising the standards for life, right? Right now, everybody's standard essentially says, who cares if life suffers terribly? Who cares if they have bad lives? Who cares if a child abuser has a kid? Who cares if an animal abuser has a pet? Who cares, basically? But so we have the lowest standards possible for life, whereas we should have the highest standards possible where there is no chance of suffering, right? Nobody being forced into the worst life possible.
Yeah. I'm studying the asymmetry of good and bad, David Benatar, and I do think this is an extreme argument for the asymmetry of bad.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a lot beyond David Benatar, basically. Like he really simplified it, oversimplified it, if you ask me.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what I had to say.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming on. I'll give you a follow, and we'll move on, see who else is in the queue. Stay ready. Coming up next. Let's get them on stage. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So I was curious as to your movement. I've been listening, I've been kind of following, pretty much have had the same thoughts for many, many years, considering I feel like we're kind of all here against our will, and suffering in life is about 99% in most cases. I was just wondering, what are you proposing something in this movement?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that I'm the most unsure about. Like, I just feel like I don't know if this is a revolutionary type of thing or if it's just something that is just an idea.
No,
You
it's
know,
not
so
an
I
idea.
just
It's a movement. So it's
right.
action based, right? It's our activists are all here for the action and for actually helping others, not just philosophizing about it and thinking about it. No, it's about activism and helping others, basically. So yeah, we're working towards the most vast and thorough extinction possible, which means providing as much safety as possible.
So are you coming? Are you have coming? Okay, so you're saying it's a movement,
Yeah.
but do you have proposals for this movement?
Yeah. So we're growing the movement until we have enough people to make total extinction possible, basically.
Okay, because I'm very curious about that. I don't know. I just feel like I hear you say a lot, but I just don't hear what you're trying to
Well,
get at
that's
and
how
what
movements
the
work.
bottom line is going to be. So I'll
Okay,
just
so
continue to follow.
okay, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Let me give you an explanation then. So yeah, we have to grow the movement until we have enough people to take over the world, whether it's peacefully or otherwise, and then start running the world ethically. Right, the world is being run unethically right now, so it needs to be taken over and run ethically anyway. Then we would start with animal extinction, and we would start researching the most vast and thorough extinction possible, basically. So that means that it has to be scientifically determined what is the most vast and thorough extinction possible. And whereas most people are trying to rush it and say, just don't have kids, or just use nukes, or just do this, right? No, it's the opposite of that. We shouldn't do this when it comes to safety. Okay, so we have to scientifically determine the most vast and thorough extinction possible. And that means pushing science to its limits, right? That could take thousands of years, it could take longer, but it's the right thing to do. And we might be able to pass that on to AI and robots so that we can have human extinction and they can carry on the science towards the most vast and thorough extinction. Okay, moving on. We have Toxic coming up next. Toxic, hello, how are you? No, they've ghosted. Okay, let's see who else. We've got Shazad wants to come up again.
Hi.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. So basically, with your movement to reach 100% total extinction, I think there will be a lot of suffering along the way, though, right? There will still be
Well, there'll be a lot of suffering if we don't do it.
Yeah, but that there'll only be no suffering if you reach 100%, if you're fully successful.
Yeah, but you know, the more the better. So even if we don't reach 100%, it's still
I
better
feel
than
like
nothing.
even if you reach 99%, there's still a lot of suffering.
Yeah,
that
but you know,
exists.
it's better to help some rather than not to help anyone.
Yeah, well, that's why I'd argue we can also go the other direction and try to minimize the amount of suffering
So you think we
that's
should
going to
work towards a
exist.
world where there is still cruelty, but just a little bit less?
Yeah, because like you said,
So
it's
how much is too
inevitable.
much? Is there an amount of cruelty that's too much, or is it just ignore it, forget about it?
I don't think what you're saying, that question is actually like an okay question, because you're
Really?
saying that because
You're
I
saying we should
exist,
allow. You're
I'm
saying we should
allowing
allow
cruelty.
suffering.
If
You're
we
saying-
could stop every single person who's being cruel, we would, but we can't control every
So
single
you
person.
think that suffering is only caused by bad people?
I would say so, yeah. I
Really?
would say
So when someone gets
because-
cancer, that's because someone did something bad, you think?
No, obviously it's not because they did anything.
Okay, Shazar, thank you for your terrible opinions. Okay, moving on. Obviously, you know, most suffering is not caused by other people. And if you really think that suffering is only caused by other people, then you're completely insane, basically. Jarpi, hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Now, like, I have read into the movement now, and I think I'm ready to do some activism.
Okay.
So like, what are some ways that like don't cost money?
Yeah, make some videos. Yeah. So that's the best way to do it. Making videos, and it's very easy to make videos on TikTok actually. And we have some guides that you can watch and some instruction videos, and we can help you get set up. But I think the best thing to do is to join our Discord and join our WhatsApp
I
group.
have.
And
What's
yeah,
your
we could talk to you there and
WhatsApp
help
group?
you. Yeah, the WhatsApp group, the link is on the website. So if you go on the website and then scroll to the bottom of the page on the website, the link is there.
Yay. Thank you. I will join.
Thank you, Joppy. Yeah, start making videos on TikTok. It takes like a minute, basically. You know, even Cora is now making videos, you know, promoting my page, basically. So yeah, it's good to see people starting to take action, right? Extinctionism is about activism, taking action to help others. Try and lift a finger or two, right? That's it. That's all it's asking. Lift a finger to help those who are suffering terribly. Most people struggle to do that, but you know, we should work towards making it possible for everyone. Okay, next person. Let's try and get them up. Hello, how you doing? No, they've ghosted. So we've got Hatchie in the queue. We've got Iscott. We'll get Iscott up next, actually. Let's see if Hatchie will load in. Hello.
Hey man, I mean, I'm sorry for my opinion earlier. All right, I like you, and I agree with your opinions.
Thank you.
I agree.
Awesome. Yeah, nobody should suffer. I'm happy that you agree with that. And let's do activism to make it a reality instead of just saying it. Iscott, hello.
Yeah, hey again. I was just going to ask, how do you measure suffering?
I mean, why would you need to?
Well, because if you are ever going to do this, it's probably not going to be in one fell swoop, is it? It's probably going to be a gradual thing.
Yeah.
Right. You can't really kill everyone off all at once. That would be very difficult to do.
Well, I'll give you points for that because most people assume that it is about doing it all at once, which is crazy. So
Yeah, I mean, so what groups would you take off first?
Animals.
Who's suffering? Okay, so after animals, whose suffering is worse?
It probably wouldn't work like that. The thing is, you know, because I don't know if like it would be a gradual thing for humanity, really. It would be as fast as possible, and it would just be based on what is strategically possible instead of who is, you know, undesirable.
Not undesirable, like who's, because your by your logic, it's that suffering is bad and we have to reduce suffering by any means, right?
Yeah.
That's the logic. But
it's more end suffering, not reduce it.
yeah, and the end goal is to end all suffering by making it impossible for any suffering to ever happen ever.
Yeah.
So you have to make a decision on which suffering you put above the other, so you can take them out one by one. So how do you measure
I don't
suffering?
know if you do. I don't think you do, actually.
Okay, never mind. I got some more things though.
And look, you know, if we're dealing with groups of people and animals, then I don't think you can easily discriminate against the level of suffering. It's most likely going to be on what is possible, what is strategically possible, what's technologically possible.
Okay, yeah, but if you're actually thinking about technically and strategically possible, I mean, extinction is just none of those things, is it?
Well, how do you know it's impossible?
Well, I mean, you can just kind of see, but also, I mean,
so we should give up the whole movement because you can just kind of see.
But also, you know,
so you're just gonna change subject now.
I will.
Do you see how just coming on and saying whatever comes to your head, no matter what nonsense comes out of your mouth, that's not a good thing to do, right? Don't just come up and just have verbal diarrhea, basically. Okay, and yeah, I'll call you out for it. And if you get called out for it and then just completely refuse to address it and try and change subject and ignore the question, yeah, you will be kicked out, basically. All right, we've got Kimura in the queue. Kimura, how
Hello,
you doing?
James.
Yeah, hello.
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to know what's your plan on total extinction?
So we're growing the movement with peaceful activism to make it possible.
But like, what's the plan on
That's the plan.
That's the only thing you're going to do. Like, you're not doing anything other
We're
than
doing loads
that.
of stuff. We're doing loads of stuff. Yeah.
Like growing the. You're just growing the community.
Well,
So,
that's the first step, right? That's the most important thing to start.
but like, what are you going to do to achieve total extinction?
It sounds like you've got some audio issues there. But yeah, the first step again is to grow the movement and the ethics and like the strategy as well. So yeah, obviously getting more people together is important, but we also have to develop like the logic, the ethics, the principles, and that makes a big difference as well. Paul, hello, how you doing?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, I just wanted to reach out and say I think that this movement is grounded in a lot of logic, and I think that it is the only moral thing to do. The fact that there are lives of pure suffering, and extinction pretty much makes that impossible to continue.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like more of like I always assumed that it was more of like an extremist position. I didn't know that there were actually active communities that were involved in that movement. So yeah, I mean I don't really actually have anything to debate you on. I think it's pretty cool. I do think that it's probably a bit difficult, but I think that overall it's a pretty good movement.
Yeah, it will be difficult, but it's the only thing worth doing, right? It's worth the effort. So thank you for the support, Paul. I appreciate that. And yeah, consider joining our Discord. We have hundreds of people. I think it's actually 2,000 people in the Discord now. It's not like, as active as 2,000 people, but there are lots of people in the Discord. You can come and have a chat if you want. You can meet me and the other activists. You can learn more about us, ask any questions you have. And yeah, anyone that's thinking about doing activism, join our Discord, join our WhatsApp group. The links are on the website and on my profile.
What do you think about eugenism?
What, eugenics?
Yeah, eugenic people.
Yeah, I think we should improve genetics for everyone.
Yeah, because if there was better genetics, then suffering would be completely obliterated.
No, even with better genetics, you can still suffer. But everyone would probably be more intelligent if they had better genetics, yeah.
Of course, so less suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's everything.
Yeah, thank you, Hachi. I mean, look, if we could push a button and there's no races anymore, no white people, no this, no that, and everyone's the same color and everyone has better genetics, better intelligence, yeah, we would do it. So, I mean, if that answers your question on eugenics, then yeah. For me, the eugenics thing simply comes down to, should we improve genetics for people, right? Should we make them better? Like, why would you say no to that? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, Alex is coming on next. Let's bring them up. Alex, hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering what you think of, right to die organisations that it's not illegal, but it's kind of a grey area. They give advice for DIY euthanasia kits for people who are terminally ill. I was just kind of wondering what you think of that and where that has a place in the movement.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a place in the movement because, I mean, I do think we should make it possible for everyone to, not have to suffer like that. But equally, we are encouraging really people to care more about the suffering of, those who can't help themselves and those who suffer even worse than you do. For example, wild animals, other life forms which are suffering in the worst conditions possible, basically. So in that sense, we would rather advocate for people to stay alive and help to end all suffering for everyone else, instead of focusing on, the individual's right to pass away like that. So the movement has a bit of conflict, right? Some people say we shouldn't allow right to die, we shouldn't allow euthanasia because we need humanity to continue so that we can help animals first, right? But I think we can be a bit less strict with it. I think that, realistically, it's only going to be people who really need it that are actually going to go after, euthanasia and stuff like that. So I think that we will be able to allow it. Fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. So yeah, again, some people in our movement are against the idea because it kind of encourages humans to think about their own suffering as being more important than others. It encourages there to be less humans, which means less, capability for helping animals. But again, really, I don't think we should have people being tortured for no reason, right? The idea that there should be no euthanasia, no right to die, is wrong, if you ask me, right? We shouldn't say, okay, there's a blanket ban on euthanasia because we need more humans, and then allow humans to get tortured like the worst possible, right? If someone is really in insane levels of pain, they should be allowed to escape from that. Okay, moving on. We've got, let's bring Haley up again. Let's do it. Let's have a little break with Haley. Okay, she's not loading in. She must be busy harassing someone else. Okay, who else? Right, the queue is now basically empty. So we need some new volunteers to come in. Let's challenge some ideas, guys. Let's have a debate. Let's hear some logic. Oh, Haley, hello.
Thanks, you can hear me?
Yeah.
We meet again.
So what do you
You
think,
need
Haley?
to
Should
stop
we
kicking me off
do
of
total
YouTube
extinction?
today.
Should we do extinction, Haley?
That's not what God wants.
How do you know?
I just feel like you're really gone.
Have you spoken to God recently, Haley?
I speak to him every night, baby.
And what did he say?
People that suffer need love, and you need love. Everyone in this.
Bless her little heart, eh? Such simple-mindedness. It's so innocent, really. Yes, Scott,
Okay.
hello.
Okay, one more thing. Okay, so you work on logic. So tell me, logically, why I should care about someone else's suffering.
That's a great question. I think ultimately, there is no logical reason to care about others in that sense. It has to come from deep inside.
Okay, so there's no logical reason, so you can't really use logic as a way to prompt your movement.
No, we can. So for people who care about doing the right thing, they have to use logic to determine what the right thing is, right?
Okay, but logically tell me what is right or wrong, because you obviously have an objective idea of it.
So only a zero tolerance policy on suffering is right.
Okay, but can you logically explain to me why that's right, because you work on logic?
Well, I think that essentially, if you, if you're considering if extreme torture should exist, right, then there would have to be a justification for it, and life existing is not a valid justification. Plus, so there's lots of reasons, right? There's lots of reasons. I don't know if I can give you just one, but there's also, like, if you don't have a zero tolerance policy on suffering, then by default you have an infinite acceptance policy, basically. So that's also a bad thing, right?
Well, no, Chris, here's the thing. The universe, without life, it has no right or wrong. There is no logic in the universe except for physics. You are trying to put right or wrong on things, so I want you to logically explain why suffering is bad. And give me a natural answer. Logic answer.
Well,
If you
suffering is
can't,
bad for
then-
those who suffer it, right?
Okay, but logically tell me why.
Because they feel pain.
Logically, why is pain bad?
Because it makes you feel bad.
You're going around in circles, mate. See, there's no answer.
Is that not
Logic
true?
is
Is
flawed.
that not true, what I said, though?
The way you're calling it bad.
Is what I said not true?
What did you say? You said that suffering is bad.
So you're not even listening.
Tell me again.
So you weren't even paying attention.
I was, but you said a couple
So
things.
you're wasting my time, you're wasting
No,
everyone's
no, hold on. All I'm trying to say is that the universe, there is no good or bad.
Okay, Iscott, great. Look, if you're not going to pay attention during this conversation, then you're just wasting everyone's time. Okay? So, to answer that question for everyone else, yeah, if suffering is bad for someone, then that means it is bad, right? That is the fact. That is the reality. That's just true. And if you disagree with that, then you're obviously insane, right? You would have to be insane to say that facing extreme suffering is not bad for you. So, yeah, basically anyone that needs further justification for why suffering is bad is insane, essentially, right? That there is something wrong with them to where they can't understand things properly. It's like a learning disability, right? So, yeah, people, the way the world works is we operate on what works, right? Language and reason, it operates on what actually works and so the world operates and stays stable due to what actually works. And so, yeah, people that say, oh, can you prove that suffering is bad? They are trying to ask for something that is beyond what, the way the world works, essentially. They're asking for proof beyond what is usually required. So they are asking for an unreasonable level of proof, essentially. So what I'm saying is, yeah, it is unreasonable to ask for proof that, animal abuse is a bad thing, right? It's unreasonable. And so, yeah, it's not a good question. It's just unreasonable. But that's the way the world works. It works on reason, right? So even in court, even with the judges and the lawyers, right? They literally operate on what is reasonable. Okay, so in law, in the legislation and everything, pretty much all the time, like basically everything it will be written in law. It is determined by what is judged to be reasonable, essentially. So that's the way the world works already. The world does not work on, right, you need to prove that, animal abuse is a bad thing. That's just not the way the world works. Okay, let's see. Do we have more people in the queue? No, we don't. We've had 2 restrictions though, so that's not good. So we should probably take a break and come back on later. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you all in a bit. Peace out. If I can end the stream, the button's not working. Yeah, it's not letting me end the stream. The button is just not working. So I might have to close the app. Ooh, okay, so I guess closing the app didn't actually end the stream, huh? That sucks. Should we continue? Yeah, probably not, right? If I get another restriction, we could be in a lot of trouble. So let's see if we can close it now. Yeah, we can. So thank you again, everyone. We'll see you all later. Oh, actually, before I do that, I was going to show Dommy something. So, right. So I'm making a screen recording, so ignore what I'm saying. Right, so Dommy, you want this button here, this button right there, not the last one, the other one. And then if you click on it, then you'll find the music that you can put on the background in streams. Let's give it a go. It's not playing. That's odd. Oh wait, got to turn the volume up. That's quiet, right? That's really quiet. Why is it so quiet? Can anyone hear the music? Well, usually it's loud than that. Maybe it's because that's probably why. So there you go, Dommy. Dommy is one of our activists who does live streams on TikTok, debates in German. So I'm just showing him how to get music on the background. Anyway, yeah, I'm ending the stream now anyway, so thanks for joining us, everyone. Yeah, I'm ending the stream now anyway. For some reason, I keep getting restrictions. I thought I'd solved the problem. Maybe not. So I might have to do start streaming with no background, right? Maybe TikTok hates the background. That could be why I've had 2 restrictions today. Again, they don't tell you why, which is really annoying. So anyway, yeah.